Hello, Cutter.
Hey, how's it going?
Strong mustache showing today in Prequel Town.
Yes, you as well.
Yeah.
Love repping the mustache.
Yeah, it's it's just 2024 thing, I guess.
Oh yeah, I thought I was being creative by being a mustache guy, but now every time
But now it's a copycat.
I know everyone has mustaches. I'm here for it. I like the
But
mustache.
also, it's like not creative to not have mustache somehow. It's like it doesn't work the inverse way.
I know.
I guess like I'm sticking to mine for a while.
Yeah.
Absolutely excited to have you here. Our very special guest. Thank you immensely. We connected with Carter through his love of Prequel, believe it or not. He was kind enough to give us a couple of shout outs in the DMs. And that's how this conversation came to be. So maybe if there are any aspiring or established creators in the audience today who want to be guests at this conversation, feel free to DM us and give us a couple of examples of how you work with the app, and we'll be happy to have you too. In the meantime, we have some questions about how music industry has artists sometimes left kind of on their own to navigate the social media space, and how some people manage to just do it better than others, like yourselves. So let's just get on with the interview, unless you have any other thoughts in mind.
I'm stoked. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Let's do it.
Yeah. Social media platforms, do you treat them as just a tool to promote your music, which is like your real art, real thing, or do you treat them as an extension of your work? What is the best way to find the balance?
Yeah. I think in the past I thought about it as a way of just promoting the like serious music, quote unquote. But I actually like that's a really kind of soul sucking way to approach it, for me at least. So now for the past couple of years, the way I've been doing it is like just create as much as possible. And sometimes the stuff that I'm creating comes out as like serious music, and sometimes it comes out as like fun stuff for Instagram and TikTok. There's no real like barrier in my head about, oh, like this is lesser than the other because it's for Instagram. Like they're both so much fun to make. It's all music. It's all creativity. And in terms of striking a balance, I don't really think too much about striking a balance. It's more of, I try to sit down in my studio every day and make something. And if it comes out as like a funny thing, fantastic. If it comes out as like a serious, emotional song, also fantastic.
Good. Not going on yourself too hard when you cannot push out that serious emotional song that one day. For those who might not know, Carter is doing this very fun novelty songs to go with his videos that he just composes separately on the go. He made one about the solar eclipse just the other day, so check those out if you still haven't. There's been cases we've seen when people have asked you to be normal with promoting your music, like to create normal promo for your serious music, and you still kind of give them silly, funny, random video. How do you come up with these silly, funny ideas for videos, like the singing body parts that are a staple of your over, if I can say that, and all those funny creative editing techniques? Do they come out as part of writing the tracks themselves in the beginning? How does that happen?
Yeah. So like with promoting music, it seemed like, you kind of have to flood the internet with videos of, I'm sure everyone has seen artists use like the same part of the song a million times in all their videos. And like, that's fantastic because you kind of have to do that to some degree. But because I do all the editing myself, I'm able to, first off, I just get bored of kind of like making the same sort of video. And so at some point it's like, okay, how can we make this more interesting to create? And, like the talking body parts and stuff, that just is kind of born out of me being bored with the normal style of making videos. Like at some point, if you make a video every day, you're going to want to do some, so
you're going to want to quirk it up. You're going to want to be like, you're going to want to switch it up.
Yeah.
And, you just go with your quirk flow, I guess, some days. And, that humorous content in your content in your case sometimes gets the reality on your side. And do you track how much the audience that come from outside of your normal audience? Do you track how much they interact with your music afterwards? Is there a way to track it for you?
Like how much is carrying over from Instagram to Spotify, say?
For example,
I have, like, you can kind of check out the numbers of like how many monthly listeners you have and get a sense of how many people are traveling over. For me, that doesn't that ratio doesn't help that much in terms of like me making stuff. Like the most important thing for me is like protecting the creation process. And as soon as I start thinking too much about like, okay, how many people are coming over to Spotify and how many new followers am I getting this, it kind of makes me less excited to create. So I think for me, it's just about making stuff, and as much as I can try to ignore the stat side of it.
Your creative fire is just too unextinguishable, I guess. Maybe not everybody wants to turn it into like a spreadsheet exercise with ratio calculation, I guess. And you talked someplace else about importance of self-sufficiency in music, of being your own creative director, artistic director, producer, engineer, and how important it is for musicians like yourself. Do you think the same must be absolutely true for producing and editing your own videos and then doing your A&R and your graphic design and your whatnot? Or is there a borderline for you after which you think you need to delegate?
I think that's awesome. It seems so dependent on the creator. For me, like there was so much time between wanting to make stuff and it being like profitable at all. Mm-hmm. And so it seems to me like the best way to be able to do this kind of stuff, to like make art in whatever way you want to be making art, is to like have a very long runway financially to do it. As soon as you start like paying people to like maybe mix your song or edit your videos, like if you can do that, that's fantastic. But if you don't have a lot of money, you're limited to, maybe you only have a budget to make 7 videos.
Yeah.
And my whole goal in this has always been make as much as possible. And so that just led me to being as self-sufficient as possible. So I mix all my own music. I used to master my own music. I edit all my videos. I do all the color correction in Prequel, I'll have you know. And
yeah, great, man.
Yeah. Yeah. We're on the channel. We got to talk about it.
Yeah. Thank you for saying the part out loud.
But yeah, it's just about it's easier to make as much as possible if you're doing all parts of it until you get to the point where you're able to expand a team, and then at that, absolutely, get more people involved. It's like starting out. It's I think in my opinion better to be able to do all the parts yourself.
And also comment on my part that as a bit of an outsider to the industry, that maybe it's also important to remember your own limits and not try to like overstretch yourself, not to spread yourself thin. There's only so many things a creator can do on top of like making music, like how many hours of editing you can do, or how many hours of that you can do. And I guess there's also sometimes value for some artists to bring in their homies on board. Like you have someone who does graphic design, someone who does titles, someone who does whatever, and you give them gigs and you give them money. And some artists speak on that, like, all my friends are like Phoebe Bridgers' famous line about all my friends are on my payroll. Yeah, but I guess it's different for different stages of careers.
Exactly. Yeah. It seems all about where you're at. Like I now at this point I have a bit of a team and I have people that come on board to help me with stuff, and I'm super grateful for that. But for a long time it was just starting out, and it's like I was super broke, so you have to find ways to do it all on a really low.
It's also cool for artists that are starting out to be able to establish their vision like multilaterally, or like in multiple ways, not just for music, but like even if you're just starting out and you can edit a couple of videos, you can do a bit of your own production. You just more surefire to leave a footprint the way you want it. So there goes. You also, since you mentioned, apparently you use only Prequel for color correction in your videos. Could you say a bit about how you discovered the app and how you incorporated it in your previous creative process or existing creative process?
Yeah. So before finding the app, I really struggled with color correction, because so much of making content and putting stuff on any platform is catching people's eye right away. And for me, someone who isn't like studied in the art of video making, I'm self-taught, for better or worse. That was like a real challenge to find ways to make stuff visually interesting. And then I think I was just searching on YouTube color correction software and like filters, and Prequel came up. And for the past probably 2 years, maybe a little more than that, I've I'll edit my stuff in Final Cut. Like I'll do all the editing for just like clips, and then I export it to Prequel, and it's been so useful. I actually have the specific filter I use as well.
Let's hear it out. Drum roll.
For all of my videos, it's Monroe 4.
Yeah.
The filter at 8, vintage at 80%, and grain at 50%. And that's, it takes off all the digital.
Bulletproof.
Perfect. I cannot stress this enough. It works every time. I love it.
That's so cool. My next question on the cheat sheet is actually about your favorite filter. In fact, you brought it up yourself, so you basically do my job for me also. Thank you. If you were to recommend to other musicians doing like this total creative control of their vision thing, what other maybe features or aspects of Prequel would you recommend to them as first timers, for someone who's just gonna download Prequel after this conversation?
Yeah. For me, the color correction is the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
The filters are fantastic. I think honestly, the like vintage stuff is so in right now. Anything with like a film grain on it, and
by right now we mean the past 20 years.
Right now, since
it's time of going away.
Yeah. People love seeing film grain. And every app has something like that, but I found Prequel's film grain to look the most convincing and kind of like the warmest. So I think if you're trying to make your videos look a little bit more vintage, and that particularly works well for what I'm doing, because it's a little bit like surreal anyway, and giving something that's like supposed to be surreal a look that like it's from the 70s it just fits the vibe so well. Past that, I know there's AI stuff. I haven't dove too deep into the AI stuff because most of my editing is done.
Sure. We'll save it for next time for our next conversation.
Perfect.
You, as mentioned, a lot of your videos on Instagram touch on some relatable topics, or maybe some of the time topics. Again, as the solar eclipse was. What's your creative process for selecting topic for these novelty songs or these funny videos? And do you have a blacklist for topics that you don't want to talk
about? I try not to do anything that's like gonna make people upset. Like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Exactly.
You know, try to be as
good guy,
inclusive, kind as possible. That being said, I think I've probably missed the mark a few times. Like, I'm sure there's stuff I've made that has accidentally been offensive. But for the most part, the way I'm making stuff is I'll like be doing dishes, and all of a sudden it'll like an idea will come into my head, and I'll run up to my studio and have to. Okay. So it's all very like
direct. You get the thoughts, you write it down.
Yeah,
cool. Do you have any tips for musical artists that want to grow in social media, and you would like that would like to grow their audiences? Any tips for discovering their footing, I guess, in this social media world?
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing, there are three things that I think are the most important for building an audience. The first and most obvious is consistency. If you post every day, at some point something is going to click. So being consistent, and the easiest way to be consistent is to actually like the stuff you're making. I've in the past fallen into the trap of making stuff because I think it'll do well on Instagram, and I hate making it, and then it's hard to be consistent because I dread going to work every day. The other thing is being interesting visually. For promoting music, I think people often think of music as just an auditory experience, but no, in 2024, it's really visual as well. So you need really interesting graphics, and that doesn't mean like high production value necessarily. It just means something that's going to catch the eye. And then finally, I'd say being interactive with people that are fans. So if people are commenting, responding to them, that goes a long way in finding an audience. If people are messaging you, message back. That's like the whole reason there is social media.
Social media, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
I find it interesting that what you said about visually interesting, because there's definitely maybe something that was not on the mind of like indie artists like 20 years ago or 30 years ago. I mean, to an extent, of course, a lot of like the most successful acts are always considered with kind of getting a full image, full vision out there. But yeah, and it's also interesting that sometimes these days people can be really judging even of smaller artists if the like visuals are not up to par. Like they come in like, yeah, we expected better or whatever, and I guess the ability is there to stick to their guns and not let the critics get under your skin.
Right.
Did you have any negative experiences like that with receiving having criticism?
I've been really fortunate in that people have been very kind to me on social media. Real quick, did my power just went out? Is the connection still okay?
Yeah, it's still okay. Yeah.
The one time that I actually got like pretty severe angry messages from people was I made a song years ago about those little crusty white dogs.
I guess.
Yeah, like dogs that are just small and have like crust around their eyes. I made a video about people were furious, and I got
like, dog man. No, you set yourself up. No, that's like you start to be your own foot. We can.
So that's on me.
Yeah, that's on you. But I'll forgive you personally. What else can I say? But like, give us a bit of a speech about what's going on in your life right now and what projects we should be looking forward to.
For sure.
From Vail this year.
Well, I'm putting out a bunch of music this year. I have a record coming out. I can't share too much details on that because we haven't shared like the name or anything, but I'm really excited about it. I also have kind of like a personal project, but it's still going to come out on Spotify. It's just I'm making a record of elevator music, and it's so much fun.
Sounds interesting.
Working on that. And aside from that, it's just going to be making more videos and trying to go on tour, hopefully in the fall. Just a lot of music, a lot of creation.
Good luck with that, man. And everyone give Carter a follow. We also, I'm also want to remind that anyone who's left the comments in this chat or will in the coming minutes is getting a bit of our how-to tutorials for creating your own album covers and a special 1-year discount for new users of Prequel Gold, our paid plan. And maybe to wrap this up, I also have a small rapid-fire question section. So are you ready for that? Just first thing that comes to your mind. Renaissance or Cowboy Carter?
Cowboy Carter. Yeah, Cowboy.
Oh, that's fun. Opinion after one week. But
I have friends that helped co-write some of them, so it's like I'm
you're biased, so not fair. Cool. Top 3 creators to follow on Instagram for just inspiration. Industries.
I'm gonna go with 3 from the comedy music realm that are really killing it. Max Boonch, which is at Max_Boonch, BOONCH. Tommy Cardy, TOMYCARDY, and Wolves of Glendale. Those are 3 acts that are crushing the musical comedy sphere. Shout
out to them. What can I say? If you could only produce one, what would you choose? Novelty music or serious music?
I think serious music. That was my first real love, and that's still my passion.
Okay. Dream musical collaborator.
Dream musical collaborator. I'm gonna go with The National, the band The National.
Wow, man, that's emo in you. We'll tag them all one by one.
One day,
I'll message all of the brothers one by one.
Yeah,
and one ultimate piece of advice for a young creator in 3 or 4 words.
Make what you love.
Wow, that's 3 words. You're so good at mouths. That's crazy. No one has nailed this so far, but you did it. Okay. Make what you love, kids and adults as much. We are wrapping up, I guess, in this conversation. Thank you so much for being here, Carter.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time.
That's been super fun, and let's not hold off too long until doing again.
Amazing. Sounds good.
Yeah. Have a fun day today.
You too. Thanks for having me.